Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Unfiltered Truth. My name is Phil Robinson. I'm here doing this thing, and I wanted to take this opportunity to get a chance to get to the things that we just didn't get to last night's show because of the unfortunate passing of Madden. Obvious something of that magnitude took precedence over everything else that was going on. So, while with that being said, we'll circle back to Coach Madden and what the Raiders need to do on Sunday. Good morning, everybody. But for now, let's get right into it and talk about this memorandum about the updated NFLPA COVID-19 protocols. So I got them right here. I'm going to read it to you, the whole thing to you. It's long, so bear with me. On December 27th, citing data showing that the transmission of the Omicron variant typically occurs only shortly after a person is infected, the Centers for Disease Control updated its guidance for the required period of isolation for individuals who test positive for COVID-19. The NFL and the NFL Players Association have consulted with their respective medical experts who have recommended that we modify the NFLPA protocols as set forth below to correspond with the updated CDC guidance. We will hold a call for ICOs tomorrow, December 29th at 10 a.m. Eastern to review these updates. Return from isolation after testing positive for COVID-19. Players, essential football personnel, and essential support personnel, regardless of vaccination status, will be eligible to return to the club facility and interact with other players and essential personnel when each of the following occurs. 5 days have passed since the specimen that resulted positive was collected. Example, specimens collected on December 27th. An individual will be eligible to return on January 1st, and at least 24 hours have passed since the individual last had a fever without the use of fever-reducing medications, and other symptoms, example, a cough, have resolved or improved. And the club's head team primary care sports medicine physician, after consultation with Infection Control for Sports and notification of the NFL Chief Medical Officer, determines that the individual may return to the club facility and interaction with other club employees, contractors, and any local regulations or requirements are satisfied. So there's a illustration here. So basically, swab was taken day on when you get the positive test, you isolate away from club facility. Day 1, still isolated. 2 through 4, all isolated. On day 5, may return. Yeah, all the stuff we just said. An individual may not interact with or travel with the team until he or she clears the 5-day isolation period. For example, a player or staff member who clears the 5-day isolation period on game day may not travel to an away game or engage in any team activity until that day, meaning the day of the game. Fully vaccinated individuals may continue to test out of isolation sooner than 5 days after the positive test, as communicated in the December 16th memorandum. By returning 2 negative tests pursuant to one of the 3 options outlined, non-fully vaccinated players will not be eligible to test out sooner than 5 days. Given the updated CDC guidance, fully vaccinated individuals should stop testing at day 5. Stop testing. And return under this updated guidance, assuming all other prerequisites have been satisfied. Once cleared after 5 days of isolation, all individuals must wear a KN95 or N95 mask at all times other than what actively engaged in physical activity at practice or in a game. Specifically, masks must be worn on the sidelines for another 5 days after returning. Fully vaccinated individuals who did not test out prior to day 5 should stop testing and will also be required to wear a KN95 or N95 mask for their 5-day period after the 5-day isolation period. Once the 10-day period after a positive test expires, all individuals will return to normal masking rules when indoors at the club facility. Both non-fully vaccinated and fully vaccinated individuals will be on a 90-day testing holiday counting from the date of the positive test. Close contact quarantine. The NFL and IQVIA will continue to assist clubs in contact tracing close contacts of players who test positive. Given that the recent CDC update is congruent with current NFL practice, we do not anticipate any changes to close contact designations or requirements. Non-fully vaccinated, high-risk close contacts of a COVID positive individual will still be subject to a 5-day quarantine period away from the facility. Supplemental mitigation measures. Given the continued increase in positive cases across the country and in our club environments, the NFL and the NFL Players Association have agreed to the following COVID protocol changes, which will be effective immediately and remain in place at least through the conclusion of the regular season. For meetings, clubs may hold in-person meetings for players, essential football personnel, and essential support personnel, including staff-only meetings and meetings with players, provided they are held outdoors or in the practice bubble, with all individuals physically distanced. Clubs may also conduct in-person meetings indoors if their indoor meeting spaces have been submitted and approved by the league. If a club has not identified suitable space or does not have a practice bubble available, it must hold meetings virtually. Players retain the right to elect to participate in all meetings virtually. Indoor masking. All players and staff must wear masks at all times when indoors at the club facility, including in the weight room, regardless of vaccination status. Masks will not be required outdoors or during practices and or walkthroughs conducted in a practice bubble. No more than 15 players may work out in a single weight room at one time, regardless of vaccination status. Masks are required at all times in the weight room. Meal rooms. Players and staff will not be permitted to eat together, regardless of vaccination status. Meals must be grab and go, or tables must be arranged such that the individuals do not sit within 10 feet of one another while consuming food and drink. Clubs must limit access to the meal room or stagger meal times to permit physical distancing. Masks are required at all times except for when actively eating or drinking. Ventilation. Clubs should ensure that they are maximizing the ventilation in all parts of the facility, particularly in meeting rooms, weight rooms, and practice spaces, and activities outside of the club facility. Essential football personnel, essential support personnel, and players are reminded that the Omicron variant of COVID-19 is among the most contagious viruses in history and will travel quickly within public facilities. As such, the medical experts for the NFL and NFL Players Association strongly recommend that even fully vaccinated staff and players avoid public areas, including restaurants, bars, and social gatherings while we are experiencing this spike. Thank you for your continued cooperation and flexibility. We will continue to monitor our NFL data, public health conditions, and guidance and evaluate and adjust the protocols as appropriate. So that's the new COVID-19 policy. And I'm actually surprised I still have viewers after that because, God, that was long to read. So, in an update, I just saw that Adam Schefter's posted the Colts have activated guard Mark Lewinsky, Quentin Nelson, Kimoko Toure, corner Rock Yassin, and Farhad Green from the reserve COVID list. You should be expecting Carson Wentz to come off of that on Sunday. So it would appear that heading into this game, the Colts are going to be at full strength, as they should be, in order to win, in order to be playing for a playoff spot. Um, CDC's changed the guidelines of what's going on, and the league adjusted. We could sit here and cry about it, and we could say the league is out to get us, but the reality is that the league is out to help the overall product, and nobody wants to see playoff games hanging on the balance of a team not being able to suit up its best players. And with that particular idea makes sense, and it's in the best interest of the league, not the players, but the league and the fans. Other than other than that, this is a horrible idea, to be honest with you, for because players have never ever lied about self-diagnosis in order to get back on the field. And it's a wonderful idea to have you wear masks indoors when you can socially distance and take them off, so that when you're blocking somebody and you're breathing each other's faces, that you can have that nice close up front contact, and one guy could probably infect every man on the football field. But that's where we're at. That's the wonderful idea. Let's pull that up. You're right. This was a business decision. It had nothing to do with public health. It is what it is. At some point, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. What's going on, brother man? Just sitting here doing my thing in the morning. Just needs to be a constant hashtag right here, just flowing 24/7. Um, this guy Pedro's Mark Lewinsky related to Monica. Who I'd actually have to look it up. Who knows? Maybe it's her nephew. Um oh. That is still trying to come to grips with that whole passing John Madden thing, Said there's only so many people in your life that have that type of impact that you look forward to seeing on a Sunday basis, 4 to 5 months a year. Yes. Yeah, OG, they did allow that. Not only did they allow that, they signed off on it because the players want to play. Said the players want to play in the playoffs, and the it's a lot of things going on that just don't make sense to me. But it is what it is. So we're gonna rock with it, and that's what's happening. And also said it's also rather indicative of the guy that's in charge of the players union, and how this season took a dramatically different swing because of him, and continues to do so under his guidance and leadership. Moving back, so the playoffs and these whole playoff permutations, and regardless of what's set, so in an interesting thing, yeah, I'm of the belief, what's up, Jerome, that the Raiders can still get into the playoffs, but if they do not beat the Colts, but they would have to have everyone behind them lose. Miami'd have to lose, Steelers, I said Dolphins already, Ravens. Okay, that's right. Dwayne, you got to add your mic and stuff. I see you, but you haven't popped up yet. The Ravens, Steelers, the Browns, everybody would have to lose along with the Raiders in order for them to be able to pull that off. But they win, they're in. They win, they're in, and I believe not only would they be in, but if they win out, they have the possibility that they could jump up to the 6th seed, maybe even the 5th. Because one of the things that, well, as everybody was laughing about the teams that they beat early and how they were on this such a losing streak and weren't any good. And wow, look at it now. All of a sudden, all those teams that the Raiders have beaten are all the teams that they have tiebreakers for and need to have the tiebreakers over. That's right. We don't worry about the horse being blind. Just load the wagon. Said we could drive the horse and we could steer the horse. But I can't load this wagon. Good question, Kane. And this is why I said what I said, because it boils down to this. Readjust this so I can see my own damn face. The Chargers own the divisional tiebreaker over the Raiders due to head-to-head record. Every permutation that I've seen flips with a win over the Chargers, and in the event that they end up like the Raiders were to lose to the Colts and beat the Chargers, then the Raiders would need to beat the Chargers by 15 in order to leapfrog them. And once they leapfrog the Chargers, they in turn have all of the tiebreakers lining up in their favor, and that's what will propel them over the top. But Miami has beaten the team that beat us, that beat the team that beat them, and all kinds of weird shit. It's crazy. It's crazy when you look at it. The seventh team was like the second wild card, the play-in game in baseball. Is just crazy. You got teams that are hot coming in and making a run when they previously wouldn't have had an opportunity. And so there's been a lot of teams that started bad and have come back. Miami has been on an incredible run. In and out of football this year. Hold on, let me make my screen full screen so I can see this. I'm getting old and don't have my glasses on, Shenny. In and out of football this year has been really rough, tough, and unprecedented. The last 2 years have been this way. Let's hope 2022 is a better year for all of us, because better days are for sure needed. They absolutely are. And in terms of adversity, in terms of off-field issues affecting the on-the-field product, I'm at a loss. I've never heard of anything like this. Things like this happen. It's not unheard of, but in the old days, it used to get swept under the rug. In the old days, the coach would be able to keep this under wraps. Now, you never knew about all of the stuff that was going down in Florida until after Urban Meyer had health complications and had to dip out. And then all of a sudden, it's like, whoa. So we never knew about what went down at the U, but we all speculated about what happened at the U. The whole bounty gate was another thing. Said that happens everywhere. That happens league wide. And if you want to really look at it, look at the emails. The emails that got John Gruden removed from his coaching position are emails that have a lot of these coaches and front office people that are still employed on them, talking about the same thing in agreement. John Gruden wasn't the only one to be out there talking about that, but all of this stuff used to be able to get covered up, but now what's done in the dark always comes to the light. It's crazy. The playoffs are coming down to it like this. A lot of different scenarios for the 24 teams fighting to get in. Hey, it makes for a better product on the field when everybody's got a shot. Absolutely, and that's the way that it goes. Win and we get in. That's this right here, OG, is the only permutation that I care about. I don't care about nothing else other than winning to get in. Because to me, this game right here going up against the Colts, it needs to be our Super Bowl. It needs to be what the Raiders play like if and when they get back to the Super Bowl. This needs to be a day. This game against the Colts needs to be 60 minutes of the most solid, polished, highly executed football game that we have ever seen. That we have seen since Coach Madden was on the sidelines. The Raiders owe this to John Madden's memory. The players owe this to the organization. They have to. They are obligated. They are responsible for properly representing the memory of John Madden and providing him with the proper send-off. It just is. Yes. That means that he has to test negative by Saturday. I think he can test negative on Sunday. But if they were traveling, it would be hard for him to make it because they'd have had to come to Vegas. They'd have left to come to Vegas already. But because he's at home, I believe he has till Sunday. Saturday would be his 5th day, but he has till Sunday to make it happen. It's good, Dirty. How you doing? Absolutely need to be at our best. Play with heart and pride for mad memories. Yeah, Dwayne, I don't know what's going on with your audio, bro, but you got to connect your mic or your camera until before I can add you. Um, I don't care what the Chargers do with the Donkeys, to be honest with you. I don't care about any of these other permutations, what everybody else has to do. All I care is about the Las Vegas Raiders taking care of their business, going out and winning. The run defense has been the best looking run defense that I've seen coming out of Las Vegas or Oakland in quite some time, to be honest with you. And a lot of that is due to the multiple fronts that Gus is employing. I went back and I watched some of the all 22. I'm not gonna say I watched it all, but I watched a good healthy bit of it and looked at the 3-4 that he's mixed in and a true 3-4 look, and actually and where they were playing Max at was kind of interesting. And they actually had Yannick standing up. And so there's been some of that mixed in. We've seen a lot of 4-4 with a lot of safety in the box. We've seen what they did with Darius Phylon that's made a difference is his get off is insane for a guy his size. He is getting up the field in a hurry. And what it's doing is causing the running back to have to adjust around him. And 3-4 with the linebackers that they have are playing well enough to are knifing through holes, beating blockers to the point of attack, and making gang tackles. Which is all that you can ask for in run defense. And so they've been a better run defense out of the 3-4 than they have been with out of the traditional look that Gus has employed. They absolutely do. Would I like to say that I'm pretty confident? No, but yeah, it's Jonathan Taylor, bro. Jonathan Taylor has been an absolute different beast. Even when you think you've got him wrapped up, even when you've had him bottled up all game, he's a one carry touchdown machine. He can touch that ball once and take it to the house that one time, that every time. Tackling is going to be at a premium. Every week you hear me say block, tackle, and execute. Never has that the need for that going to be more true than now. Because if they can't tackle, it's going to be a long game for them. You expect nothing less than a revenge game from DC after posting that video? Look, man. This game came coming up ain't about DC. This game coming up isn't about the Raiders. This game coming up is about the memory of Madden and a dedication to that memory. And I'd be the first one. We'd be one of the first to jump up and say that this should be a big game, a statement game, and all of that good stuff. But the reality is this: is that the Raiders got to win. They are obligated to win. I don't care if they. I don't care if it's a last second victory. I don't care if it's 100-point blowout. I don't care if some of the strangest shit you've ever seen in your life happens, or they execute so precisely that it looks like brain surgery. However they do it, they need to get a victory. I don't care if a guy goes out there and stinks up the joint and gets a redemption touchdown to get it done, or you see a whole 53 guys, 46 guys, excuse me, of players of the week getting that victory and carrying my man off to the sky is what needs to happen. So the execution, and I cannot stress this enough, the execution needs to be precise, surgical. There needs to be the ball security issues that have plagued this team over the last couple of weeks need to be solved. Hold on to the football, two hands. I watched the game against the Broncos, and ball carriers were much better at getting two hands on the football, keeping two hands on the football through contact. That is what they have to do. It's just what they have to do. And you've been around to see a lot of them, brother. You've been around to see a lot of them, and it's the strangest stuff I've ever seen either. But this franchise has been marred in the oddities and the absurdities of the NFL, and more often than not, whenever something crazy happens in NFL, it's usually happened to us. Gruden is one of the reasons you studied communications in college. Gruden is the reason I love football today. Not Gruden, Madden, excuse me, is the reason I love football today. I said it on the live last night. I've owned every copy of Madden going back to 94. That's every one of them except for 4. That's going to be one of those things that they play close to the vest up until probably you'll hear about it either tomorrow or Friday, maybe Friday, when they have to travel to see if he's going to travel with the team. Then it's a good possibility he's playing. If he does not travel, well, obviously we know what that means, don't we? What do we got here? But it's a unique situation, and when you look at this, I didn't have a good feeling about the Denver game, and for looking at this game on the schedule was always one that made me pause and have some concern, because the Colts were in position, the Raiders were in position last year. All they needed to do was beat the Colts. All they needed to do was win the last couple of games and they could get in. And the Colts thumped them bad. I've been listening to the post game pressers, and I said some things about Josh Jacobs needing to be gone, and I said some things about him being about get what you can for him. I don't think Josh Jacobs is the problem. I don't think Josh Jacobs his fumbling definitely is an issue. But I listened to Josh Jacobs talk about this football team, and that he sounds like a leader to me. He sounds like he's out there trying, out there giving it his all. out there figuring things out and trying to figure out a way to evolve the team while remaining positive. One of the things that he said that stuck out in his press conference this week was talking about how him and the line came to a consensus about what it is that they wanted to do, what it is that their plan was going to be. And he mentioned the word execute multiple times. And I've heard a lot of talk. I've heard a lot of this, I've heard a lot of that, but the execution of the running game was key to this victory, was imperative to this victory. The change in play call, the change in philosophy that they've endured, and more importantly, I'm just curious to the fact is how the running back and the lineman came to terms with how it was that they were going to run the ball and were more successful with that than the offensive coordinator. But that's a story for a different day. The Raiders made the necessary adjustments to their games in their last 2 weeks to win. Regardless of who was on the field or who wasn't on the field, both of the defenses that they played were at pretty much full strength, minus a player or two. Denver definitely was. And yet their run game has been improving steadily over the last couple of weeks. Jacobs got his first 100-yard game. Jacobs was in the groove. Jacobs is healthy. Jacobs got in the zone, and it was a sight to behold to watch this run game get off and get to doing what it can. And it was a sight to behold to see a component of the offense atoning for their mistakes. So he thinks he's Le'Veon Bell from the Steelers. A lot of it, if you look at it, is a jump cut or a sidestep and hesitation. What he did in this particular game that I liked best is that they ran a power scheme with a zone option, and he did a lot of one cut running. And when Josh Jacobs is one cut running and getting up the football field, he's as good as anybody. I'd like him to be a little faster so he can bang them big ones, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, nobody's perfect. I would have wished that Barry Sanders could have been a little taller with a little bit more direct, with a little bit more truck stick to his game. But we're just splitting hairs here. But when the offensive line is going, this offensive line was supposed to be a run blocking line. We remember that at the start of the season, we were talking about how terrible this offensive line was going to be in pass protection, and that they were going to be this big tough run blocking line. And now they're top 10 in pass protection and nearly at the bottom in run blocking. That was interesting, but it is what it is. No, he didn't. And the first half wasn't. You take away the fumble, and it gets a lot better. The first half wasn't rough. It wasn't great, but the second half was when they had it rolling. And when they came out of the break and just ran it down their throats, that was pretty indicative of what it was that they had going on. Now, for some strange reason, whenever the Raiders need a victory, they just need to see the Denver Broncos, and whenever the running game as it had fits and needs to get back on track, give us the donkeys. Give us the donkeys. I feel if Waller doesn't play, it will affect him getting the biggest contract from us. If he doesn't contribute and we don't win, I'm putting some of it on Waller not showing up when he's needed most. Listen, it's an IT band in his knee, bro. I'm not gonna. If he's feeling pain when he cuts, he can't play. There is no. We like to talk about that. The last best example that I can use of that, without a doubt, is probably Robert Griffin III. You look at what Mike Shanahan did to his career when he forced him to go out in that playoffs, when I literally watched his knee separate on the field. He was never, ever the same. Matter of fact, he was pretty much from that point on, he was done. It was over. Said Waller signed with Clutch Point Sports. They're not going to let him go out there and play like that. And said it's hard to say if it's hard to say just how much he's hurt. But listening to Bisaccia, if he can play, he's going to play. I'm not going to fault him for not coming out and being injured when you're talking about a soft tissue injury in somebody's knee, bro. That's a little crazy. Dan, this is an all hands on deck situation. This is an all hands on deck situation for the rest of the year. The Raiders need to be looking at any and everything they need to do in order to get this W. That was an unexpected move. I saw that earlier and I was like, wow. So we just got through talking about the 3-4 defense, this, that, and a third. And the Arizona Cardinals are running a 3-4 defense with a lot of safeties at linebacker. And with Javen White, because you got nothing out of Nick Morrow this year, and Nick Morrow is most likely going to be gone. So Javen White was supposed to be one of the replacement players, and a guy that I never ever got to see, and I really, really was sad about that because from what I did see of him, the little bit that I did see, I was intrigued and I was ready to see more, but it wasn't in the cards, so it is what it is. What's up, Sean? Yeah, listen, I wasn't hip to the IT ban. I had never even heard of an IT ban injury for all my years of watching football. That's what was pretty insane to me. And so I talked to Phil, who talked to his guy about that, who said that injury was a lot bigger deal than people think it is. Is that, if it's a little bit off before you get back out there, he runs the risk of doing extensive damage to his knee, and that's just not cool. Yeah, I'd rather have him shit if possible. I'd rather have him for the Chargers, but it is what it is. So they found a way to win without it, and honestly, quiet as kept. I think it's been better for Carr because Carr has a tendency to lock in the guys, and he can't. You don't need him locking in the guys, one guy and staring guys down. He needs to see all of his progressions, go through all his reads, and utilize all the players on the football field, because when you bottleneck the offense, nobody else is eating, nobody else is getting off. Yeah, you become entirely too predictable, and the defense, and pretty at that point the defense is dictating the car what he does with the football. um from what Waller posted, it sounded like to me he's in his feelings, not his IT ban. I've had that same injury from sports, was back to 102 weeks without pro training. It's an interesting wrinkle. It's is he in his feelings? I heard that he was weeks ago. When I said something about it, I was called an idiot, didn't know what I was talking about, and was trying to fracture the nation rather than simply report on something that I've heard from triple confirmed from 3 different people that I trusted. Pedro, I love the enthusiasm, but I'm not going there today. I'm not going there this week. Don't care about that right now. All I care about is getting it done. That man said that we want to decide his future and talk about where he's going and what's going to happen. He's not done yet. Go out and show me. Go out and show me. Said I'm gonna keep saying it. If it's pissing you off enough to go out there and get a W, I'm gonna keep fucking saying it. Because these Raiders, they're in an impressive position. I cannot say that 3 weeks ago I expected them to be where they are right now. Not at all. The past has shown that they were just going to go in the bag, curl up, and a lot of them were already planning fishing trips. But this year, with as much as I've seen and a football team ever have to go through publicly, somehow they are in position to finish, if they win, a game off of my preseason prediction of 11-6. If they take care of business through it all, and that is impressive. They are a game away from their second winning season since 2016 in the last 20 years. Take it easy, Vince. I see you. How much confidence do I'm putting money on it, bro. To be honest with you, I'm about to go look up the money line and probably drop a hundo on it. Could be, could be. The reality of the situation is this: good as he is, Darren Waller is still 29 years old, heading into his 30s. Now, as a tight end with the style of play that he has, he's got at least another 5 to 7 years left in him, at least. But well, we got bots back in here. Must be doing something right. But in terms of contract and money making potential, this is it. This is his big contract. He got paid a little bit. He got paid a little bit. Oakland and Las Vegas paid him enough to make him give him some life changing money, but they didn't pay him anywhere near what he was worth. At least, definitely not the production that he had produced. So this is his last opportunity to get his real cash, his big deal. So yeah, to a certain extent, he is listening to Clutch Sports. They're advising him to get paid. I don't fault him for that. I and quiet is kept. We're gonna see a lot about Darren Waller in the next couple of weeks because the team needs him. And if he's ready to go or close to getting ready to go, he's got to go. So now that's the beauty of this particular situation, LG Andy. So a lot of people have said that this was the league's attempt to fuck the Raiders and all of this other stuff. No, it's not, because everything that benefits every other team also benefits the Raiders. Everybody that tested positive for the Raiders yesterday all has a chance to play on Sunday. Every last one of them. They get tested later on today. I believe they were off yesterday. So we will see what happens. They're still in isolation, so they won't be able to they won't it wouldn't matter if they tested positive or no, actually they're vaccinated, so they would get to test out sooner. So they would just basically have to go through the testing process, and once they're finally able to they can come off. No, no, that's not finally. They've done it. They've been in position to control their own destiny for the last 2 years, last 3 years. They just haven't done it. Yeah, no, that's real, and that's the thing. No, it's a schedule. From what Basaccia said, it usually happens. He said on that particular day, which was I believe Monday. He said that they usually do the testing protocols around 2 o'clock. So we'll see, and that's when he'd be able to provide a list to all of the beat writers about what was going on. So we'll see. They get a heads up, and a lot of people were saying early that it looked like the defensive side of the ball was going to be decimated, and then it ended up that it was. So I see a lot of fresh faces in here. Welcome to the Unfiltered Truth. Thank you guys for your attention, showing up, giving me a little time. Please give me an unfiltered salute. Hit that like button and subscribe. Come back, get some more of this good content. I'll just like to give it to you straight, no fluff. Tell you how I feel, based in fact. But yeah, they've been playing playoff type atmosphere games since they got blown out by KC. Defense has responded nicely. In fact, if you go back and look, the defense has only given up 20 points once in the last 4 or 5 games. So you can say whatever you want to about backup quarterbacks, the XYZ. They played run defense. They've kept people out of the end zone. They've done excellent and complementary football and given the offense an opportunity to get out there and make it happen. And so they've done everything that they were supposed to do. And when you do what you're supposed to do, you're rewarded by victory, or at least you should be. Corey was good. Youngstown in the house. Um, but yeah, so the code this whole change to the COVID protocol is pretty much making it so the COVID list is no longer an issue, an obstacle to teams being at full strength, to teams playing with their best lineups and being handicapped and all that other good stuff. Um, it benefits the Raiders every bit as much as it benefits everybody else. They're not isolated in any way, it, or what's the word? Ostracized is what I was looking for, in any way, because what happens to them happens to everybody else. They gotta make it happen. And if you don't have the motivation to make it happen after the passing of this man behind me, uh that's going to be a game. Make no mistake. Make that, and I could talk in circles, but let's kick the brass tacks and get real here for a second. Let's make no mistake. If the Raiders don't win this game, all of Raider Nation is going to look at this entire roster with a certain type of scrutiny, with a certain level of disgust that is going to befit the need for major changes. I gotta believe that Mark Davis has already spoken to the team. If he hasn't spoken to the team, I guess he would do that today since they were off yesterday. It would be the day that he goes to speak to the team and lets this team know just how much John Madden meant to this franchise, how much these players need to respect and respond to Madden's passing, and how much they need to go out there and honor him with a performance worthy of his attention. And if that doesn't happen, it's not gonna social media is going to blow up, and it's not going to be a peaceful place for the players. And I'm not wishing anything bad on anybody, but given what I've seen social media become and what I've seen them do on the emotions that have been felt with Madden is not going to be it's not going to be pretty if they go out and put up a dud. It's just not going to be pretty. It is not going to be pretty at all. Thank you, Caleb. That's 100% accurate. Whether it's Carson Wentz, it's some dude we've never heard of, or a guy they signed off the street. Said the Raiders need to keep, and it's not even about yards. They just need to keep Jonathan Taylor out of the end zone. That is the number one key to the game. Keep Jonathan Taylor out of the end zone. Limit it to one, limit it to two, but it can't be any more than that. I really don't want to see him in the end zone at all, but it can't be more than one. You cannot allow Jonathan Taylor to beat you. Make somebody else do it. That's what Bill Belichick would do. That's what Gus Bradley's going to have to do. So he's usually, when you see the Raiders defense, they're committed to stopping the pass. The last couple of weeks, they've been committed to stopping the run. So whatever it is that Bradley chooses to commit to stopping, he usually does a pretty good job of stopping it. They got to stop the run. They got to stop Jonathan Taylor. Marlon Mack is still on the COVID list. He'll have an opportunity to come back, but until he comes back, he's on the COVID list. Jonathan Taylor is out here embarrassing cats, embarrassing whole defenses. That what's crazy to me is that looking at the numbers that he's putting up is that he still be second fiddle to Derrick Henry. Still be second fiddle to Derrick Henry, but Jonathan Taylor is balling, bruh. Balling. Flat out. Make no mistake, balling. That is the heart and soul. That is the heart and soul of this Colts team. I was playing Madden last night. I was getting my ass kicked trying to throw the ball. I'm not even gonna lie. But as soon as I started handing that ball off, it was a whole different story. Ain't that right, Rich? Where you at? I don't see you in the comments section. Play. It's good, nice of you to duck out on that one. You still my bitch, but but yeah, that's what it's gonna come down to. They got to play defense. They got to stop the run. They got to run the ball. Said if they can succeed in eliminating Jonathan Taylor from being impactful or scoring, then we got to have a quarterback duel, and our quarterback has got to get it done. Flat out, got to get it done. There is no excuses. Kane, please. I I beat people in man like it was my day job. But there is, how does this fool keep getting in here? I tell you, boy, I can't block long enough. Let's see, maybe this will work. It is this whole week is something incredible and something truly different. It was a week that I've long dreaded, and I've said this a couple of times, and I'm just say it again. One that I did not feel the Raiders matched up well in, and for all intents and purposes, they still don't. They still don't match up well against the Colts, but they got to go out and play, and they got to go out and find a way to make it happen. Here come the strippers, sadly, in the comments section. No, they can't. But it's all good though. It's all good. Whenever you got haters, you need to try and get a couple more. These bots are a new thing inside the YouTube live. So I'm happy. Keep sending them. I'd rather you didn't, but you know what I'm saying? The only thing that makes me nervous is the last time we played the Colts, and it was second to last game. We lost our QB. Good thing though, we have better backup than we did in 2016. We played the Colts last year, dude. I'm just saying. Just saying. Same thing happened. We didn't lose the quarterback, but definitely have a better backup. And And of somebody who's familiar with the Colts and has beaten the Colts and Mariota. Without try they need to have a package for Mariota. At some point, Mariota is going to need to throw the ball. This would probably be a good game for that. This would probably be the game where he'd be able to come out, and hit somebody on an RPO, and catch them with their pants down. Because every time you've seen Mariota come in, it's been a running play. The passion, Pedro, the passion. Who's trying to get yammed on in NBA jams? I mean, if you could find somebody who's still got a system to play it, that'd be what's up. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. If they didn't want to do it for themselves, if they didn't want to do it for each other, do it for Madden. Do it for Madden. PS5 or 4, excuse me, not 5. Still trying to get mine, secure mine. Haven't been old lady banging yet. But that's all I got for you guys today. Or at least for now, anyway. I'll see. And that's how I know that you would lose, motherfucker. You on an inferior product to begin with. There's going to be more stuff happening today. I'll be back later. But for now, I'm out. Y'all have a good one. Thank you for joining me this morning. If you have not, please hit the like button, subscribe, give me the unfiltered salute. And what is Zay's best spot on our team, in your opinion? The one he's playing right now, being out there on the field. It's really not the position that is the problem with Zay. It's the way they're using him. They need to use it. He's a short yardage route runner. That's what he excels at. He's got good footwork. He's a possession receiver with a little bit of speed. That's what he made his hay on at Eastern Carolina. It's what he was best at when they were using him in Buffalo. But if you want to use him as a deep threat when you have D-Jacks out there, I can't help you. But all right, guys, there'll probably be some stuff going down later. Jones will probably want to get down, so I will come. We'll probably get back on later tonight. Salute. We out.